Welcome to the tent. Hi guys, it's me again. It's time for another installment in my video log. And this time I'm going to talk about a very peculiar part of my wild ride during being homeless. And this has a lot to do with my father. And I love my father. Oh, I love my father. He's in a lot of pain right now. I'm taking care of him. He's currently bedridden, but, let me lock my door. I love him very much, but he is a bit of a character. My father, back in his youth days, he was a bit of, how do I say? He was a bit of a Mama Luke. He was a bit of a mook. He was a bit of a real Goomba, you know. He was one of those classic morons. He always did all the silly things because he thought he was a tough guy 24/7. Well, actually, he was pretty tough back in his day, but he thought he had to be tough all the time. And because of that, he came out as a sort of a classic cartoon moron. Have you ever seen those classic little stupid mafia cartoons with the idiot henchman doing whatever stupid thing he can know as goofs up? That was my pop. My pop was that stereotype. Oh, my father and I were at the Salvation Army together, and we were both going nuts. And we were both losing it. My dad had stumbled upon a man whom I will not name for our protection. And I could have smelled his lying ways from the beginning, but my father my father was so infatuated with wanting to run wild again, especially at his age. Just for another wild ride, another going chance to go gung ho. So he followed his Connors everywhere he went, and I argued with him. I even left him a couple of times to be on my own, but like the idiot that I am, even though I couldn't persuade him, eventually I came back to follow him everywhere. And this con artist always convinced my dad to make everyone else to believe that he was rich and he had lawyers and his money was stashed away. And because of this, I unfortunately had to be stupid enough to follow this guy, bouncing from hotel room to hotel room, the situation that got us in trouble with authorities and mobsters and other people. And it was one of the most ridiculous situations I'd ever been. It got so bad I got kicked out of a hotel where my father and I had to be split. My father went back to the Sally, but I got stuck with a bunch of other mooks all the way at the other end of town, by the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, in the middle of the Mojave Desert, directly behind the Cisco building. And I had enough. I left and I had my personal stuff there. I had precious stuff, the last of my autographed stuff. I mean, I had to leave behind an autographed pic of Jake LaMotta just to survive. Well, if you call that surviving. I mean, days after my birthday. It's January, and it was still 100 degrees. No joke. I was around 38 degrees Celsius for everyone else. But, for me to walk from where I was back to finding where my dad was, back to Sally, we called it Sally back then, was an 8-mile walk in 12 hours because I stupidly was so dizzy, I accidentally took the wrong turn at the wrong street. So I actually went around the entire town in a freaking circle when I could have gone straight. By the time I actually made it back to Dad, I had wound up with walking pneumonia. I was choking on my own phlegm. I was puking. I almost had what seemed like a muscle failure when I woke up in my dorm one time and I couldn't get up. I couldn't move around. I struggled to move. It was horrible. I was taken out on a stretcher. But eventually, during that time, my dad kept following this gentleman. And it kept to leading up to these really bad adventures until finally, for which I'll save for another story, I finally managed to get my father and I our first apartment out of homelessness. And I'll save that part for another story. I hate that guy. I love my dad, but I hate that con artist. This is Jules One, the homeless gamer, signing out.